When I put him down, bam, I get hit in the head.
He was also just absolutely gushing blood out of the side of his head.
Headshot is different. There was blood coming everywhere.
But he's acting fine.
My first shot, he hit Big Boy in the head. I thought he was dead.
Former record executive Suge Knight survived a near miss, being of a fatal headshot, which occurred during a drive-by shooting, being in September of '96. Ever since the headshot took place, there has been much speculation around the incident, with some claiming he was hit by fragments of glass, and others claiming he was grazed. Suge himself, for years following, claimed he still had a bullet fragment deep within his head, stating that the doctors told him if it had been an inch closer, a fatal headshot would have occurred.
I got a bullet still in my head.
The bullet's still in your head?
Yes. The doctor told me that if it went another inch, you would give your life.
In this mugshot taken a few days after the incident occurred, the headshot wound remains visible. In this video, we're going to get to the bottom of the incident, comparing statements from people who were there, being in regards to Suge Knight's near-fatal headshot.
In a car driven by Marion Suge Knight, the head of his label, Death Row Records, Shakur was shot 4 times after leaving the Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas.
The incident which resulted in Suge Knight's headshot is centered around 2 main places in Las Vegas. Suge Knight, along with his artist Tupac Shakur and other people who were connected to his record label Death Row Records, traveled to Las Vegas on September 7th, '96. Tupac had to travel there to serve community service after Death Row's criminal defense attorney David Kenner had gotten one of Tupac's pending legal cases moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to circumvent the Los Angeles Free Strikes law, which would have landed Tupac in prison. Kenner had created conditions with a judge where the sentencing for the legal case would be lowered to community service, where Tupac would have to perform at a benefit gig, being at a Las Vegas nightclub which Suge Knight was acquiring, called Club 662. Club 662 was originally called Botany's, which was being controlled by the Chicago mob, with it being New York Colombo mob associate Robert Amira, who helped Suge Knight get a stake in the club, with it then being relaunched as Club 662. 662 not only spells out MOB on a keypad, which stands for Members of Blood, being the Compton Blood street gang which Suge Knight was affiliated with, but it was also the California Penal Code for death row inmates. The FBI had the club under surveillance, with this being real footage from '95. Las Vegas attorney George Kalisis was the nightclub's business attorney, who organised an after party to be a fundraiser, which sponsored a Las Vegas police officer called Patrick Barry, with the tickets costing $75. The after party for the Las Vegas cop was outlined as a benefit gig for Tupac to serve as community service. Tupac and Suge Knight had to travel to Las Vegas on the night for this purpose, otherwise Tupac would have been imprisoned. Reggie Wright Jr., who was a former Compton cop and Death Row's head of security, held a meeting at George Kalisis' home with 23 security personnel, where they were told not to carry their weapons, as Death Row had failed to secure the proper clearances from the police. Undercover FBI asset Kevin Hackey, who was the former police partner to Reggie Wright Jr. and was working under Death Row security being for the FBI, revealed he said to Reggie Wright Jr. on September 9th, 1996, quote, "I thought you had it all arranged in advance with some attorney, Kalisis. They were dealing with it down there. Some attorney that they had at the time, something to do with Club 662, that all the guys were going down there prior to get authorization from the Vegas police, you know, to carry firearms," unquote. Bodyguard Michael Moore refused to surrender his weapon and was removed from bodyguarding Tupac, then being assigned to Club 662. The Club 662 charity event for the Las Vegas cop invited up to 500 people, with some including Mike Tyson and Tommy Hearns. Mike Tyson was performing in a boxing match against Bruce Seldon in the MGM Grand, which Suge Knight and Tupac had ringside seats for. The fight had started at 8:35 p.m, with it lasting just over a minute, with Tyson winning by knockout. In the MGM Grand lobby being 14 minutes later, a fight broke out after Tupac had attacked a Crip gang member who was pointed out by one of Suge Knight's blood associates. Tupac and Suge Knight, along with an entourage of Blood gang members, beat down a Crip by the name of Orlando Anderson. Orlando Anderson, along with the Southside Compton Crips, had been at the MGM Grand Lobby bar watching a Tyson fight. Tupac and Suge Knight were then seen on CCTV making a quick exit from the MGM Grand. Orlando Anderson, along with his uncle Keefy D and the Southside Compton Crips, drove to Club 662 to wait for Suge Knight and Tupac to arrive, but they left shortly after. Tupac and Suge Knight changed clothes and left Suge Knight's Vegas home at 10:33 p.m, being in a black BMW. Las Vegas bicycle cops had pulled over the BMW at 11:10 p.m. for playing music too loud and not having license plates. Just 5 minutes after the cops had stopped them while waiting at a red light on a Vegas strip, a white 4-door model Cadillac pulled up alongside the BMW and shot upward of 13 times.
Definitely seemed like everything slowed down, and I just remember thinking, man, they shoot forever.
Suge Knight and Tupac were shot at 13 times within a minute time span. Bodyguard Frank Alexander, along with Tupac's group artists Idi Amin and Gaddafi, who witnessed the event from the car behind, claimed it seemed like it moved in slow motion due to how many shots were fired in such a small period of time.
He was shooting so many times. Everything started moving in slow motion.
Suge Knight had received multiple injuries from the incident, being grazed 3 times, with one being the headshot and the other 2 being the chest and the back of the neck.
I was hit there, I was grazed some other places.
Tupac was hit 4 times, with the most severe being a lung shot which caused a collapsed lung. The shooter's car sped off afterwards and was pursued by Suge Knight's Blood entourage, who fired back at the car, striking it several times. Bodyguard Frank Alexander got out the car and began running towards the BMW, believing Suge Knight and Tupac were dead.
I thought that they were dead. There was absolutely no way in the world that these guys were alive. They had to have been dead. Too many bullets had gone through their car.
Suge Knight then done a U-turn and began driving frantically down the Las Vegas Strip. The BMW came to a stop, with the first responding cops arriving at the scene at 11:20 p.m. Chris Carroll was the first responder, who described in his Vlad TV interview how Suge Knight's head wound was literally gushing blood.
He was also just absolutely gushing blood out of the side of his head, but he's acting fine. I mean, he's not incapacitated in any way.
He claimed Suge Knight didn't seem fazed by the concerning head wound, as he was more focused on Tupac's condition, which seemed far worse.
The average person gets shot in the head, the first thing you think is, damn, I'm about to die. My concern was him.
Tupac was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery and was placed in the ICU. Suge Knight was seen in a hospital for his wounds, with this video capturing the head wound while he smoked outside the hospital. Suge Knight had a mugshot taken on September 13th, 1996, where the visible head wound still remained. Tupac died on the same day that the mugshot was taken.
I first shot it, hit Big Boy in the head. I thought he was dead.
Keefy D, who was a Southside Compton Crip who was in Las Vegas, was secretly recorded by LAPD cop Greg Caden, where he claimed the Southside Compton Crips carried out the shooting, with him claiming that Orlando Anderson was the triggerman.
It was Dre. Dre was like, no. And Lane's like, dude, Papa, dude.
In his book and during multiple interviews, Keefy D claimed that the very first shot was the bullet which grazed Suge Knight's head, which he thought had killed him.
I seen a bullet going Suge head. I thought he was dead.
Suge has refuted these claims, as he said it was after bullets rang out and Tupac was hit, when he pulled Tupac down after Pac was trying to jump in the back seat, which is what exposed his head to the bullet.
I get hit, I pull him down, I get hit, bam.
I grabbed Pac, I pulled him down. I got shot in the head with a 45 bullets and inch to my skull.
Keefy D's book claimed otherwise and said that Suge Knight already had the head wound when he was pulling Tupac down. Suge had claimed that after he lifted his head up when he got grazed, he looked the shooter directly in the eyes.
When I get hit in the head, I immediately look up. When I look up, I see the fear in his eyes.
Suge Knight, in a 2020 prison interview, claimed it was not Orlando Anderson who carried out the shooting.
The sad thing about it, Orlando wasn't even the shooter, They said that, but that's not at all.
Gaddafi, being Tupac's group artist, made a statement to Las Vegas police where he claimed it was a large African-American arm which came out the window, with him also telling Tupac's rap group that it was not Orlando Anderson. Fellow artist Idi Amin, who also witnessed the event, told the police that he saw a dark-skinned arm with a black gun fire from a white Cadillac. The cop who secretly recorded Keefe D, being Greg Kading, made a book called Murder Rap, which claims the white Cadillac had 4 people inside it, being Southside Crips, Keefe D, Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson. The book claims that the Cadillac was rented from an auto shop in Compton under Terrence Brown's mother-in-law's name. LAPD detective Russell Paul's book called Chaos Merchants claims witness testimony had provided that the white Cadillac had Nevada plates, which would refute the Crip theory. Suge Knight, in a 2020 prison interview done with Chaos Merchants co-author Michael Douglas Carlin, refuted the Crip theory and alleged that crooked LAPD cops were involved in the setup, who were later listed in the wrongful death lawsuit of Biggie Smalls, with the lawsuit connecting Death Row Security. In this video, we took a look into the near-miss headshot of Suge Knight, which occurred in September of '96. There has been much speculation ever since it took place regarding if he was actually hit or not, with it being a common talking point in the case. We gathered most of the information out there regarding a specific moment in the incident to research it further. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, smash the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and press that bell button so you can get all the future notifications for when I upload. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.